We got this.
Yes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, witches and friends, wizards, friends, family, everybody here. Welcome to we're watching today Nom Watch Review, a Division Non-Talk Network, where we talk about the latest movie drop, film, or latest milestone for some nostalgia of ours. I will be your host today, Alejandro. I will be nomming on some lovely, shameless plug, Pizza Hut pasta and Italian sausage, along with some good old-fashioned H2O. And I will have this lovely trio of folks with me today, as I introduced you to. Carla, how are you doing today?
Good, very, very good. I'm really happy to be here again today. And my snack of choice is chocolate-covered almonds.
Ooh.
And some ruffles. Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is it.
A little
It's
sweet
big.
and salty. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. And here to change your mind and get your popcorn rating higher. That's my sole purpose today. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. I'll take that challenge. All right. And along with us joining is this dynamic duo. Hello, my friends.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Ethan.
Our food of choice is Recess.
And I got a Coca-Cola Classic, ET's favorite drink. It's not cool.
Yes.
Yes. And a hat too.
Oh yeah, just for posterity.
Yes.
I
As
dig
you can
it.
see, we're kind of a fan of ET. So
Just a little.
a little bit.
Excellent. Right on the oh God, Reese's Pieces. God, you guys gonna be craving this. Oh, okay, I like your choices. I dig it. Well, as you can tell, our popcorn bucket ratings, these lovely three people here have a 5 out of 5. I myself, 3 out of 5. I have my reasonings. We'll see what happens. We'll get there. So we'll see how it goes in this discussion. Along with here, let me go ahead and start off with a few things here. Let me check. Let me see here because I definitely want to check in the chat. Say what? All right, 1 second here. All right, so I lost my thing here. I apologize. So the first thing I actually want to talk about in regards here is going to be the storyline in general. Well, you know what? Let me take backpedal here. Before we go into storyline, I want to know how you guys were introduced to the film and how your experiences with this film were first. So Alex and Ethan, I'll start off with you guys. When did you see this film, if you guys can remember? And initially, your emotions with it, your attachment. How did that feel with you guys?
I probably saw this when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Saw it on VHS. I liked it well enough. The big selling point for me being a 6 or 7-year-old was like, ooh, that title has got the first 2 letters of my name in there. I want to watch that.
That's right.
So that was pretty easy sell for me. I liked it as a kid. I liked it well enough. I've really grown to become a huge Spielberg fan. I've seen probably like 90% of his movies, and he's made a lot of movies. It wasn't until COVID hit I rewatched this, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I had never cried with it before.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
grabbed me by the heartstrings. Absolutely. And then I'm not sure when you were introduced to it.
Well, no, because I have a bad memory, 100%. I didn't watch this movie completely until I met you. It was like he had us go through a Spielberg binge of every Spielberg movie. And so I count that for being my first time. So that was during COVID. And
we ended up seeing it at New Beverly.
Oh yeah, we saw it. They re-released it in theaters.
Yeah.
And so I think especially because I started eventually I worked for I don't know if I'm allowed to say where I work. I don't know.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Well, anyway, working for Universal now, like I feel like it has more sentimental value to me because there's a lot of merchandise that gets sold, and people all the time come in and have such nostalgia towards it. And I don't know, like kids are still really into it. So I feel like even though it's the 40th anniversary now, I feel like it's such a relevant, has really like a lot of feeling towards it. So when I rewatched it with you and then we watched it again, I just feel like it brought me back to a more simpler time, even though none of us were born during the year of like, or we didn't watch it growing up, like as much as maybe like my parents did, but I feel like it brought me back to a certain simple time where people played outside in their front lawns, and I don't get that feeling like as an adult even, but I don't know, that's how I felt about it, I guess, the first time watching
Heck
it.
yeah. That's awesome. I'll
is.
also like to admit to a slight mistake here. I got so excited about what we were talking about. I didn't even tell you guys what we were talking about. So thank you guys for actually being like, hey, immediately, let's talk about ET. Never mind that the host totally was like, hey,
You're doing
Nom
great,
Watch
sweetie.
Review, where we talk about things and milestones. I'm eating pasta.
You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing great.
So on that note, thank you for actually catching that fumble of mine, or actually recovering that fumble. On that note, Carla, I did not mean to interrupt you.
You did it. You did it.
Please let us know your initial interaction with the film when you saw it and how you felt about it.
My dad, I was going to call him father. My father. My dad saw it, introduced it when I was a little, like 5, 6 years old, and throughout my years, like up to 10, I was just watching it, and my younger sister, Christine, she grew this obsession with ET, like ET this, ET that. She had like a stuffed ET carrying with her everywhere. And so when I see ET, it reminds me of Christine. And when we went to Universal, it was their first time, and they had the anniversary ride. I think it was like the 25th or so. So I got to ride right in front of her with her, and she was just like, oh my God. And I think I enjoyed it vicariously through her. And then I went to the John Williams concert where I saw the music, and I was like, you know what? This is cinema at its peak. And it always brings me back to Christine and her. And that's why I like this movie. And I hadn't watched it recently until last night and today. I watched it twice because it's hard not to do so. So that's
awesome.
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's great, man. Dang, so you guys got all this wholesome connections with that's fantastic. See, I have an issue. So as you know, we all like have seen this film at a different time. Ages. I'm 35, and even then, I didn't see the release. I mean, that makes sense, and even then, would able to acknowledge when we saw it in the first place. Here's the problem: when it first released, I was terrified of aliens. I didn't like any form of like extraterrestrial anything. That's not the current Alejandro. In fact, you ask producer Steph, my other half over there, holy crap, she will tell you how much I've obsessed over aliens now. But before, I could not stand it. And I think it was because at the time growing up, I was always listening to a radio station with my parents. And my parents loved listening to this radio station called Georgia Noise Coast to Coast. And at the time I was always hear some form of thing on there in which it'd be like a person telling an alien story or a portion that were abducted. So immediately in my head, anything with outer space was absolutely terrifying. At the same time, my dumb self watched the film Firestarter before I watched this. So in my head, I had young little Miss, his sister over there, in my head, burning people to bits to death. So when I saw her scream in the film, I was like, wait, is he going to blow up the flame? I was really confused when I first saw it. So given I might had some issues when I first saw the film, a little terrified. So I guess I didn't give the film its full potential. That being said, I will say I thought it was the coolest thing in regards to the only thing that really got me to watch the film initially was the Reese's Pieces bit. I loved peanut butter and chocolate. And the only thing I saw was this little kid coaxing out alien and Reese's Pieces. And I was like, if he can coax it, I'm willing to watch this. So I initially watched it. It was on and off to me. The pace was a little slow. And this is initially just 10 seconds. And I wasn't too sure how to take it. But then again, I had a lot of different influences. However, even though the current rating I have where it's at, I did currently just watch it. So my opinion has grown immensely since then. And I am going to go into a few other things, and hopefully you guys can change my mind on a few things. I'm willing to change my mind, but I'm telling you right now, it just didn't vibe with me at the time. On that note, I digress. Let's go on to storyline, because initially I want to hear you guys' opinions first before I totally give you mine. what got me hesitant for a little bit was the pace. I was confused. To me, I was like, how long is this going to take? But once again, I'll continue on that a little later. Carla, we'll start with you. In regards to the storyline, the vibe of the storyline, and the pace of the storyline, how did you view it? What was your opinion of it?
From first watching it as a little girl, a lot of the story kind of went over me because
Mhm.
when I was watching it as a little girl, it was like the wow factor. E.T. He's getting sick. He brings plants back to life. He is, until recently, I started noticing little patterns like, oh, this is where he's getting connected with Elliot. Elliot is going through something, and he's kind of using this extraterrestrial as a coping mechanism for himself, and it became more apparent. And then I read something, I don't know, maybe you guys can fact check me on this, but the filming was in order, like it wasn't like this scene, like him ET leaving scene first, and then they filmed like the first. It was all in order because Steven wanted the kids to form a relationship with the alien.
Shit.
Yes. So that's why he wanted them emotionally involved. So when at the end scene, this is it, that's not acting. Like the kids are actually sad that he is leaving. And that made me realize, oh, this is beautiful. This is a story. I love it. Love it. So storyline, A+. That's my 2 cents.
I kind of wish all films now filmed in that order. I never I've been behind scenes and I've seen that, but I never you get so used to being in the industry, things being filmed the way they are. So when you hear something like what you just said, it's like semi mind blowing. I'm like, that's crazy. And it makes sense.
Mic drop.
Okay. Fuck, God damn it. Okay. All right. Alex and Ethan, just drop your freaking extraterrestrial knowledge on me on this film.
Give it to him, you guys.
Storyline, pace, vibe. I'm sorry, guys. Let me reiterate how the storyline looks to you guys, the vibe of it, your initial opinion, and now.
So a big thing I notice every time I watch it is how well they parallel E.T. being literally being abandoned by his own people. They've juxtaposed that perfectly with Elliot and his feelings of abandonment with his father. One thing Spielberg movies really love to tap on are the loss of innocence. And I think this is probably his most definitive movie about that. You get Elliot and you just see his domestic life and just how he's just kind of an outcasted kid. And the minute that he meets this alien, the one masterful thing about Spielberg is how he facilitates tone. So you really feel Elliot's, his fear, his wonder. Like we're watching that scene where he just lures E.T. up to his room and he's just showing him all his toys, and like it just makes me want to cry just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God. Explain the peanut jar and everything. Yeah.
It captures the childhood innocence so well. Also, the way Spielberg films it, it's almost like a silent film. It's very minimal dialogue in that opening 20 minutes. And everything shot from like hip level basically, where a child
all the kids. Yeah, like the Peanuts movie. Everything is just about the kids.
Everything just about the kids. You only see the only adult face you see for the first hour and a half is the mother.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't even know that was the mom at first.
What's funny to me is that they all call her by her first name multiple times.
Yes.
Wouldn't you get smacked for that? I don't know. That was a weird thing I thought, but
yeah.
Good point. Good points. I love that. Applause.
Okay, man. All right. See that? Okay. All right. I see some reasonings. I get it. Then in that case, I will put my input. So my opinion of the film was changing ultimately. That was the thing. Initially, when I saw the story and pacing, I really, Carla, you brought up an excellent point. I initially saw as a child and all that crap was over my head. I was really quick. It was, there. All I saw was at the time what I thought was a naked alien. I was like, whatever, It just didn't make sense to me. In the way I wanted it to do. Seeing it now, though, and seeing the story pacing, the individual concepts of just the boys being the boys. Yeah, there's that mother figure, but even though that mother figure was there, she was like this natural part of scenery, part of the group. So the ability of like you said, the innocence and going into investigating something that's beyond this earth in their youth-like splendor was really cool. Initially to anything, the bike rides, you name it. There's a lot of things now looking as an adult. I was like, man, that was like, I missed that. Like that was fun to be in the moment. That was fun to have those table talks or conversations with your crew of people and just, do what you need to do, and running into things that with no parental assistance. I mean, I remember, I don't know, times and fun times again, I get on a bike and head off to, or I don't know where, to my friend's house, and we just go ride, neighborhood to neighborhood, just doing stupid stuff. So the delivery, the story, the pacing is a lot better than I thought it was. So by all means, I have to agree with you guys on there. Also, I didn't really get the abandonment until literally, like, I will say probably
you can say
hours
now.
ago.
You can say now.
It was one of those things
It's
where I was
okay.
looking at Steph and I was watching it. I was like, I was already I'm not saying a depressed mood, just kind of whatever. And I was watching as it go. I was like, damn. It was like, this is rough. You're with somebody that's on this adventure, on a different portion of his life. And as you can tell, he's in a portion of his life in which is very unsure, and the foundation's a little rockety with his family. So he has a family and friends there, but at the same time, you see there is an issue with, I would say, lack of love or loss of love in a sense. So being introduced to, I would say another being that's not from this planet. I never really got the attachment when they're growing in. And now, Carl, you've been to the chronological order, everything filmed in order. That makes a lot of sense. And like you're thinking towards the end of the film, you're like, oh my god,
Right? That's what's up.
Emotional damage. Okay. So on the next, let's see here.
Alex.
Yes. Wait. So
Alex
say something?
Next.
Yes, please. By all means. Alex, in your input when it comes to the storyline as well, because I do know from your perspective, you said that you saw it during the pandemic, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, question. I have to ask this here. Coming from somebody as big as a fan as Ethan from it. Now, initially, did it live up to your initial hype, or did you have to watch a little bit more, watch it again?
Oh, I feel like I had to dissect it more, but that's how we tend to we always watch movies, and then after we have hours and hours of conversation after, just part of like things that were being brought up, or just subtle things, or connecting the ending to the beginning. But yeah, even like after watching it today, we were talking about it for a while. But yeah, I think bringing it back with the whole parental thing, it was just interesting, even with the mom, how she talked to Drew Barrymore's character. Every time Drew Barrymore said something, it was listened to. Like I can't remember the specific dialogue.
Yeah, like when Drew Barrymore's trying to tell the mom like the ET's there, but you just killed him with the fridge, and she's like, all right, Gertie, let me just unload the car, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they're all dressed up for Halloween, and ET's disguised, ET's disguised as Gertie, they all say thank you, and then ET says thank you, and then it just completely goes over the mom's head. It's not listening to her. It's like little subtleties like that. It just makes everything feel alive.
And then even the part when Elliot and I keep calling her Drew Barrymore, but I forget what
Gertie.
Okay,
Gertie.
So
Yeah.
we're talking inside their closet, and when she first meets ET, she goes, "Oh, can I tell mom about it?" And then Elliot goes, "No, only kids can see him, so you can't bring it up to adults."
Oh yeah.
You feel like it's an imaginary friend, like, it's someone that you trust super close to. So I just also relates back to how there's like, it's important in the film to not bring it up to adults, because at least in the perspective that I saw, that adults were there to kind of ruin the experience of just appreciating a different kind of perspective coming in. But towards the end, just all these doctors and people are just surrounding the house. Like, people just have adults we have this curiosity of like, we need to unravel things to the max. We have to understand everything, where kids can just accept not knowing and just accept it for something that it is. So I think that was bringing up the whole innocence thing, is Ellie and ET going on this adventure of, they both want to stay with each other at the end, and it's like, come, and it's like, stay. And it's just like such a beautiful moment to know that your life has to move on, but at least you have those memories to hold on to in your youth. Because all the parents, like the mom's not even standing with the kids, the mom's like standing off to the side with all the police and stuff. So I feel like it's a nice tribute to children, just to be able to know that the next generation's always coming to be more imaginative, where the adults we're just set in our ways, and it's unfortunate.
We're here to suppress.
We're here to like just conformity, and like there's a lot of things like theme wise, but it brought up a lot of themes and about society a lot for me.
Definitely. No, that's excellent. That Jesus Christ. That's some deep, valid points. I mean, if you look at it this time when the film came out, societal, I'd say outlook on children was still, in a sense, kids be in their place. Kids will be kids. Things happen, accept it kind of deal. I will totally get the whole, concept of kids trying to get the attention of their folks, and the classic response of, we'll get it later, or, it's okay, or immediately on to the next thing, is usually putting their opinions, as you said, Alex, to the side, or their initial, I wouldn't say value, but I would say everybody looks as a child as someone that just doesn't really know anything. So, wait till you get older, you'll understand. In reality, it seems like they understand a hell of a lot more than we actually do, So that's a very excellent point, which I want to go ahead and segue into the acting concepts. So we were talking about, Ethan, you brought it up earlier, just the little nuances of how parents' reactions were, just to go on to, hey, I killed it in the refrigerator. Just the standard reactions that made this film what it was. So I'm going to start off with you, my friend. Were there any memorable moments to you that stood out the most? And it could be multiple ones. So by all means, I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, you have to have one. But in regards to the acting and just, I would say moments, is there anything that sticks out to you most, or what's your opinion of the general acting of the crew?
I mean, of course, there's the penis breath line. Brilliant,
Yes.
brilliant moment.
The mom even was like,
sit down. No, it really though. What always blows me away whenever I watch this movie is Henry Thomas's performance as Elliot. It's probably the best acting you'll ever see from a child ever. It's just. It's like Spielberg just abducted a child and threw him in front of a camera. Like, he said, just like showing me, like I go back to the scene where he's showing him the toys, and just how he's like, oh, this is a peanut, and it's a bank, and he's like, but this is fake. You can't eat it, Like, it just feels so natural, and it goes along, with Drew Barrymore, goes along with his older brother. With the older brother's friends who come over to play.
Greg and Steve, I believe. I'm looking. Yeah.
Tyler's played by Pony Boy from The Outsiders.
That's right. Yeah.
And
Golden Pony Boy.
And they're just when you could hear in a PG movie the word douchebag, It's just the way that they interact in that opening scene, or at the scene at the bus stop, where they keep going back at each other, like Sina Supremus, like zero charisma. Like, it just feels so natural. And that's.
I feel like you get the age gaps, like because sometimes I think it really just depends what age you are, but like the older brother, like he's always making fun of Elliot, telling him like, nah, like, oh yeah, I promise, and then he's getting me, like, you just like I don't know. I remember being young, because I have an older brother and a younger brother, so I'm a middle child, and I remember, just times that my older brother didn't want to believe me, but then my younger brother took a lot of guidance in me. And like, so I feel like that dynamic of Elliot, of just having two siblings, of someone who's almost an adult, not almost an adult, but they're more closer to being an adult than he is. And then having Gertie be someone who's just so, so free and imaginative. So he's kind of caught in that in between of like, I don't know, just that in between ground, but I feel like you get the age differences between all of them and how much they're willing to believe Elliot's story and how much you have to convince them. Where Drew Barrymore was pretty instant because she like notices something on the driveway. Was that what it was?
Oh, no. That was completely unrelated.
But I feel like she was open to just with E.T. coming in, where the older brother needed a lot of convincing.
Yeah.
Just like, okay.
Yeah. You have absolute power.
Oh yeah, that was E.T. E.T.
We'll get.
God, Carla, same thing for you, my friend. When it comes to, was there any memorable moments? I know we've discussed. It's okay if some of them are the same. By all means, please. But was there anything that stuck out to you the most? And if not, what's your genuine opinion of the acting?
Well, let me tell you this, Alex. Listen. How do you direct a kid who has never been drunk in his life to act drunk?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna. Okay, you got. Okay, damn it. Okay, go ahead. Okay, keep going.
How? Like Elliot acting drunk and looking like this at the little girl. Like, it is the funniest thing, and it was perfect. This kid can evoke just such sentiment. It made me cry. I never cried watching E.T. until yesterday. I was like, oh, Elliot, you're not alone. He's right here. I thought it was sensational. I think Drew Barrymore wasn't acting. I think she was just being herself, and they used it. They're like, just run the camera. Just run the fucking camera, you know? Because she was like, in the spaceship, you know, like she's struggling because she's just yelling. Michael, the brother, his acting was, I understood. I am the oldest. Not like Alex. We have other Alex. I was the oldest one, so I definitely understood the dynamic on making fun of or not wanting to include him in the game. Like, no, you're gonna slow us down. Like, go wait outside. I totally get that. That was natural. Like, I can empathize with Michael. Yeah, that's true. And I liked it. From the friends, the almost zero dialogue from the scientists, you know, made them even more intimidating. Because I enjoyed it. And acting. Yeah, no, that's it. I'll save this other stuff for the next point.
Okay. I don't know if you guys saw my face go to a shade like two different red here. The reason being is because Carla, you mentioned something that I was gonna bring up if you guys didn't. Damn. Okay. So my rating is gonna go higher. So basically, the scene for me was the drunk scene. The reason being is because I had to act like I was drunk probably about 10 or 15 years ago in a play, and I've never been drunk in my life at the time being. And it was very, very freaking difficult. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt so like out of place at the time being. So just trying to be there is difficult. But the fact that this kid didn't even fully hit puberty yet, the fact that he was just being himself, it makes you want to freaking cry. It's like just little scenes like you see you do that, you're like, okay, I can relate to that. The concept of the fact that I've been the older of three brothers. All three. I could not stand Jacob Cowie, my middle-aged brother, for the longest time of the first couple years. I don't know how many tricks and stuff, you're watching, buddy, you hear me out. I don't know how many tricks and stuff I had to actually go ahead and like, all right, I'll bring you back a lollipop. Or you can really do it if you go get us some food, and you're always trying to coax him in another direction.
Yeah.
But that little stubborn kid would find ways to come back and hang out with us. And in all honesty, I had some of the best memories with him too. Like, and I won't say everything because I don't want to rat us out, but I know that him and I have went on a couple of Goonie-like adventures together.
Aww.
And watching, E.T. and seeing, the brother eventually be like, oh shit, you weren't kidding. And all of a sudden you see he even gets like the interaction between the eldest brother, the youngest sister, and the middle. But you see the transition just fully go in circle, how all of a sudden they respect each other, going from, hey, you're annoying, hey, you're annoying, to like, you are the best thing. They automatically get an unintentional, unspoken trio of agreement that they will not rat each other out in any way, shape, or form. When, like, initially in the first 20 minutes of the film, they all were at each other's necks. Like, for example, like, let's go into Alex. You mentioned it. The eldest brother in there was treating him like trash, saying like, you couldn't do this before you did this. Ethan, you mentioned the concepts that they were going into the concepts like, oh, going back penis breath, the conversation. You could tell they were really going at each other, just knowing these casual names. But that was like a thing that if you had a sibling, you hated each other at the time. That was the only thing you could tell without killing them. And it's just insane. The fact that they all looked like siblings. I mean, they played it out extremely well. It was just hard to confuse. The only thing I didn't believe was the mom being the mom. In fact, I thought it was just like a hot sister in the very beginning, considering the fact the kids were like pointing at her ass at the beginning, like, quit, So, I mean, that whole like interaction to everybody it was realistic. I just felt like, in all honesty, Carla, if you did not bring up the fact that you told me the way that it was filmed, that was filmed, and I guess the chronological order, is that how you guys mentioned it? Okay. That all makes sense now, to like them eating at the table from the development and going, and how could you, I'm like, after seeing it a second time, I actually believe the whole bike concept going over the moon. It seems like, when you watch the full thing through and through and understand the symbolism, actually go through and take the time. Yeah. Okay. So the rating's going up. Dang it. All right. On that note, I'm not gonna say how high yet, because we still got some things to discuss here. Let's go into the next thing here. So we just talked about the acting, cast. Well, actually, we've been talking about the casting throughout the storyline as well too. Now, what I want to touch base with, because I feel like as if directing shouldn't be necessarily forgotten in this. I'm a little weak on this. However, considering the fact we know what he directs now, to me, I feel as if this style of storyline or this style of delivery is like grade A out of the ballpark natural, but this is just my opinion. So I actually want to start off with you, Ethan, because I know your knowledge on this is a little deeper than some of us on here. In regards to directing, I have to ask, in this point of history in his time, is this spot on for him as normal, or is this something kind of a breakthrough for him in general in regards to his?
Oh, no. This is Spielberg at his prime, basically. He's coming off of Raiders of the Lost Ark, his biggest action movie at the time. And then just for him to go to that, period piece, World War II, lots of big action set pieces. For him to go to that, he's like, I want to make a movie about a boy in the suburbs. Like it's just like, okay, like what a challenge, And he just kills it. Like I said a little earlier, like those first 20 minutes or so, everything's pretty much told to you visually. There's a lot of use of like shadows. Like when E.T. enters Elliot's room, you just see their silhouettes, and it's just perfect visual storytelling. He had produced, written, and some say even also directed, but at the time Poltergeist, they came out about a week apart with E.T.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's another similar like suburban but with horror elements.
Yeah.
Was I?
Oh, just that well, this is everything he's told me.
No, it's okay. Please, no. By all means, guys, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Saying that he either shot E.T. during the daytime and Poltergeist at night, so just like nonstop during that time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was just running on creative energy then.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is, yeah, like I said, the minimalist direction.
The kids being the main focus.
The
of
kids
both
being
of
the main
those.
focus.
Yeah.
But then when it becomes time to be a blockbuster, he again knocks it out of the park, with that chase scene at the end. It's basically him reduxing the truck chase at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. But with BMX bikes, and like it's just so incredible. And he also, every Spielberg movie has like 10 iconic images. This one was probably his most. I mean, his Amblin Entertainment, his studio logo is he, and that's a great image, but I think he absolutely tops it when he has all the boys on bikes in front of the sun at the end.
Sun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I think he 100% just like it's like he hits a peak. You think he can't get any higher, and then he just goes right through the roof.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Carla, I saw you had something you wanted to say for sure. Please.
Listen. All right. So there's this common denominator when it comes down to Steven Spielberg hits, and what it is? What is it? Drum roll, please. John Williams. So when he later saw the Lost Ark, he was there. John Williams. That scene that you mentioned, I know it's a little over 15 seconds, about 30 seconds, because I listen to it religiously. I know it. As I'm listening to it to a car while I'm driving, I'm like, this is what's happening. This is where they get, confronted by the cop. This is where Elliot is detaching the two from the van so they can run away. It is magical. And if that scene did not have that music, it would not be good. Yes, I'm stating that right now here on this day at this hour.
Excellent.
That's what it is.
That is definitely respectable. Okay.
I dare you watch that scene on mute. It kind of be a little, I don't know. I don't think it would fit well with you. You need the music. Absolutely. But now, another thing that I wanted to point out for his directorial ways, he includes a lot of his works into this one. When Elliot is showing his toys, they're in the Star Wars family. Would technically, E.T. would know, because the little kid when they're trick-or-treating, he's wearing a Yoda mask. That's another callback that E.T. knows. Michael is imitating Yoda. The absolute power. Yes. E.T. kind of like lines up. Another one that I forget. Oh, I got so excited. I forgot. But they're like little. Oh yes, the last one. When Gertie is getting read a bedtime story, it's Peter Pan, which Steven Spielberg did Hook, and John Williams also wrote for. So it's a lot of callbacks, and I love that I love that when storytelling. I love that. So it excites me. It's like you're feeding me fandom. Thank you.
No, for sure.
I don't know if you noticed, but when they see Yoda at Halloween, if you listen very closely, you could hear the Yoda theme when he lifts the X-Wing. Yeah, it's a little sped up, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, confirm this. My fiance tells me this, that according to when E.T. lifts everyone up, he is using the Force.
Oh my god.
Crap, why'd you even say that? Because now you think about it, E.T.'s is technically their colonies in the actual Star Wars universe as
get there.
An episode. Dang it.
And they are Phantom Menace. There are Phantom Menace.
Damn, okay.
Exactly.
Canon. Okay.
Exactly.
E.T. We see you. We see you.
So I was like, oh my god, he is using the Force. Yes.
I'm never not gonna think about that now.
Why'd you have to say that?
Welcome.
God, now I'm gonna be thinking of Grogu and ET going on trips all day with each other. Lord,
they know each other. They know each other.
They do.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
Before I forget, We actually have the comments here from Q ourselves. Let's go into here. I'm so delayed here, but Q also says everyone remembers the main theme song too. Going into it, he's saying as he is watching us earlier, he had a little chili and peanut butter sandwich earlier today, and he also says that John Williams also did Star Wars, Superman, 1978, and many others. So that makes a lot of sense. I totally forgot that he actually did Superman 1978. But actually thinking about the soundtrack initially, you just hear that little, it takes maybe the first 10 seconds to know it's John Williams. So that makes a lot of sense to me in there. Now, in regards, let's go ahead and segue to the next thing. You know what? Also, I wanted to think of something because in regards to the directing, because like I said, I wasn't like, when it comes to directing, I'm a little weak in my opinions in these areas, but I will say this. The childlike splendor, my favorite portion of that, considering the fact that when he's showing him everything, Ethan, you brought up the concept of the peanut piggy bank and going into him putting in coins and dimes and so forth. Alex, you brought in the concept when I believe it was what's her name, the youngest sister, she mentioned thank you, doing dress up with them as well in general, and Carla mentioning everything is being filmed at the hip. The amount of childlike connection to the film and the way they directed it baffled my mind. Just the sounds of him playing with the action figures as he's trying to explain who they are and he's going click, click, click. It puts me in utter childlike bliss. I never expected to listen to something and when like, holy crap, that's like plastic crack right there that he's playing as a kid that I immediately just like, oh, the sounds, everything from the Pez dispenser as he's going through it. I was just like, thrown off. Like, so it just you were definitely felt like you were the child in that room in that moment explaining to this possible obviously extraterrestrial, to what was your world, not the fact that politics, not the fact that this is all this crap that's going on. This is what I see, this is what I know, I want to share it with you. And I like I said, now that you guys listen to what you guys' opinions on this and seeing, just hearing in general, that definitely seen a lot. So Chris said excellent directing. Now with this too, this next portion we go here, I want to talk into references such as games or going into shows or rides. We'll even mention that before. I'm just going to give a slight opinion. I'm going to move into you guys here too, because my connection with the film was actually rejuvenated by my lovely other half, Stephanie. Now, I work for Universal Studios, and being working for Universal Studios, you guys understand that, we deal with rides in certain ways and attributes. So I never really got to experience ET when it was located here. That was gone. After that, I just never had the opportunity. However, this lovely woman got me involved in a trip to go back to Orlando, and I got to ride ET, and I can tell you right now that is probably my second most favorite ride in the world. Never admit it to any way, shape, or form. It is my second most favorite ride in the world. I'll go and mention my first later, but I don't know, like being inside the ride, I didn't remember much of the film, but now watching the film now, I remember so much of the ride and just of what, like how they connected it with the film and the vibe of it as well too. So my only connections to this film outside of the film itself would be the ride itself, but I'm going to have to move over to Alex and Ethan, ask you guys in regards to games, the theme park ride, you name it. What has really been a noticeable thing for you guys? What is the most standoutish thing in regards to just the ET franchise beyond the film itself?
Well, yeah, mine's short. Mine's
it's okay. It's okay.
Alex, like, yeah, I work with the theme park, and I only have like one little like memory. Just digressing, like when I was working there like a month ago, the rental store, there was this girl, like a little girl in a what's it called, stroller. In a stroller, and then the dad took like this like stuffed animal ET doll and showed it to the daughter, and she started crying, and then all of a sudden I will make you learn to love ET. I keep that with me like as a park memory, just because that like parents are showing their kids this, like, and the generations are just coming up, and it's still an important thing, like you're saying for yourself, Alex, like even though that you saw it and had a different memory when you were younger, but now that you have looked at it and you're realizing how much you miss that childhood that you had. I think that's why it's still such a relevant movie, is because even though you're an adult, it still brings you back to a different time. And I think we were talking about before, I was talking to Ethan before, that when people went, probably parents took their kids to see this film, it wasn't just like, oh, I need to drag my kid along and I'm not going to enjoy it as an adult. It's like, no, parents and their children both were able to sit down in the theater and equally enjoy it together, instead of like having to do it because that's what you need to do for your children. Like, it was an equal bonding moment that you have with your parents. But yeah, just for the park, and I never got to experience the ET ride, so I got to go to Orlando now because I'm so jealous. That sounds amazing.
I didn't know they still had the ride at Orlando, but when it was in Hollywood, I rode it quite a few times. And yeah, they say your name at the end. You know, you write your name on a card, and then yeah, ET says your name at the end. But yeah, I remember that ride being super cool. You're on the bikes the whole time. But I remember what most sticks in my mind is the way this movie opens. You go inside of the ship. You see all the different plants.
Yeah. That's what I remember.
The ride, you got to go through that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And like that's what sticks out most in my mind from the ride. But as far as like what pop culture is taken from ET immensely, I mean, just look at Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Stranger Things or Super 8, the J.J. Abrams movie. It's that was from 2011. It kind of kicked off like kind of our nostalgia for the 80s in a way. It really mutated though with Stranger Things, you know, like very blatantly ripping off. Like the character of 11 in that first season is E.T.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
And you got the kids playing Dungeons and Dragons, you know.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Oh god, I was about to ask. I didn't want to say anything. I was like, yeah. I was like,
I was to say same thing. Yeah.
Yep. No, I totally, by all means, that's valid. Carla, in regards, did you get to experience the ride, or is there anything that you got to experience beyond the actual movie itself?
Yes. Well, the ride, I went, it was the anniversary, and I with Christine, and we got to sit right up front.
Yeah.
And where E.T., you know, he is in the basket, so I'm like, yeah, Christine, enjoy it. We got the front seat. You could see E.T. I remember walking through and you saw the plans. And the whole Dungeons and Dragons, it was like when the opening scene where the kids are playing at the table, they are playing Dungeons and Dragons, and that went over my head. And now I play it religiously every week. So I was like, oh wow, it was there. It was consciously in my brain. You know, I was supposed to play this. The scene where they're all like getting ready on their bikes, I was like, Stranger Things. Like it's you know, and I don't hate it. I love it. You know, Stranger Things, you know, is basically a medley of what the cool things about the 80s were. So I'm not. Yeah. Give it to me. I will eat it. Give it to me.
I can respect that. Exactly. I mean, if it isn't broke, why fix it? You know.
Exactly. I attended the John Williams concert, and he played the orchestra played the escape / chase and goodbye sequence, the whole song. And let me tell you guys, I was crying in the middle of I was like, this is beautiful. Like I don't know what to watch. Should I watch the film? Because they were playing it while the orchestra's playing. Like, should I watch them? Who should I watch? I don't know. This is so emotional. And Steven Spielberg got up and spoke, and he was saying how he owes a lot of his fame and all of his like hits because of John Williams. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad that you're saying this because it's the truth. Give credit where it's deserved. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, respect.
That's excellent. That's cool. Yeah, like you guys said, like you guys before, or I said it earlier, that my experience was the ride. The ride kind of rejuvenated me in this regards too. And I may see a certain gentleman about like maybe once or twice a week unintentionally at Spielberg. So interesting thing, the back lot when you just walk it and you're like, oh, why are you here? And honestly, I have not been brave enough to wave at him or like I may come up to him right now because that sometimes
Do
gets you
it.
fired. So
Oh, don't do it then.
so I don't, yeah. So do it. Don't do it. I like that. You're like
On your
my
last
conscious
day, do it
Carla.
on your
That's-
last day.
On our last day, we should just do it. Yeah.
Oh no joke. I'm telling you right now. No, I can't say it because I don't want to get fired. But anyway, I'll figure it out. But like I said, I find it fascinating because the ride rejuvenated me wanting to see the film. I was, like I said, I had experience with it, wasn't too fond of it at the initial time being, but being on the ride and now seeing the introduction to the film, you're right, I didn't expect to actually have that much experience with the alien planet when you're walking around. The fact that you do see astronauts and the sheriff's department and multiple people throughout the actual ride, that actually reminds me of like everybody from the FBI, and NASA and everybody they sent to check on ET. So that vibe was very much there. What I loved about that ride essentially though was the fact that you got to be like on the bike itself, and that bike was almost like felt like a real bike. There's moments that I was in the air going, please don't fall. So like obviously you're attached to something. So that, I guess that goes back to the point, Carla, Ethan, actually you all mentioned before, bike riding, Dungeons and Dragons, just initial childlike splendor. So I think that the ride took a huge note off of the concept. In fact, if I'm correct, I think Spielberg had a lot of opinion on it too. If I'm correct, but we'll go there. I might be wrong. I have to digress on that other end there. But we're getting close to the ending time here, and I wanted to make sure that you guys could always drop your social with us. Let everybody know where we can find you guys initially when you're not here talking great stuff with us and movies. So we'll start off with Alex and Ethan. Where can we find you guys?
Find me on Instagram, just Ethan24 or Film for Real. Right? That's what we're calling it right now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's it that we have going.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay. No, perfect. Excellent. And Carla, where can we find you in your socials?
You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, even though Twitter, I don't use it as much, but I don't know what my handle is, but my name is Sonsa Stark. And on Instagram, I am Carla, Isabel, 38.
Excellent. Right on.
I
Okay,
share,
guys.
yeah.
I like, there's a couple of tags I need to get, revive some of my social media accounts, but one of them you can find me at is going to be Instagram. IAMCOWIE. That's I am Cowie. I'm constantly posting daily reels on there, being full of shenanigans, you name it. Or you can find me at Twitter at Crimson Cowie on Twitter as well. Please, guys, please, do not forget to join us for our next show, which is going to be tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we are going to be talking about. I'm going to control over here, talking about Obi-Wan. It's to be really exciting about as well, so please tune in for that. And by all means, once again, Carla, Ethan, Alex, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I know you guys are constant guests for previous shows. We always appreciate you guys, so it's a great time always having you on the show. As usual, for the rest of you folks, thanks for tuning in, joining us. We'd love to have you guys here. And please have a nomorific night. Love, peace, chicken grease. Have a great day. Bye.